Oh, did you start us? Oh, because we're running late.
Yeah. Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with my main nerd,
Nate the Nerdarch.
So we had some technical difficulties again, as we realized like last time the sound wasn't working quite right, and we realized we have this super sweet mic that actually never picks up when we do the live stuff. I was kind of wondering why our live sound was so off, and we've kind of figured it out. So we'll actually have a fix for that come next week, I guess.
Yeah, it'll just be in the form of yet another mic that we know works with this situation.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing today? I see there's a lot of chat going on in the chat. Well, by a lot, I mean Zarif Gaming and Adam were just going at it.
That's what we like to see. Communication in the chat.
Yeah, that's it, man. Which is awesome. And so you guys got any awesome gaming going on this weekend? What's happening with your games?
I know I have some awesome gaming editing going on this weekend.
Nice.
I recorded last weekend. I'm editing it this weekend, and hopefully it'll be up for next week.
So you had your first pay-to-play game since the last time we did this.
Yes, it was the Hold of the Moordanes. It was a lot of fun. The group of guys was great. We had accents. We had banter during combat. It was really and comedic things during combat. So it was a lot of fun.
So how many players are in that game?
5.
Mm-hmm. Five. So
a lot of merchants. Heavy on the merchanting.
Oh, they're all merchants?
Yeah, we've got a jeweler. We've got a soldier who is currently on, who has PTSD and is currently got a therapy dog and hanging out and doing merchanting, giving it a go. And
I'm loving the fantasy therapy dog.
Yeah, he bought a Mastiff just to have as like. It's like.
So what you're saying is, essentially, in a time where this thing wouldn't even be acknowledged, he's got a therapy dog for it.
Yes.
Just checking.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
You don't, back in the day, weren't told, oh, you need an animal companion. It'll make you feel better. You'd be like, I'm just going to keep this dog around. I like him.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
It feels good to pet Scruffy.
Yeah, and I also have a wood elf that we call wild elves because they're kind of more nomadic. He learned it's Silverthorn, the guy playing the female, which is, he's doing a really great job of the accent. And he's actually doing a country accent.
Oh, nice.
Because they're wild elves and they live far off in the woods, and they come and interact with people, they're like really elven. So they just speak elven amongst themselves. They learn common, not through other elves, but through interaction, like trading.
Right.
So they all talk with farmers and people out in the country. So he's got a southern accent. It's pretty nice. Nice country accent for it. So, and then we have a sorcerer who's on down low about being a sorcerer.
What do they say they are?
A merchant. He's just a traveling merchant. Nothing to see here. Going in this dungeon with you guys. Nothing to see. Yeah. So he's already been on some adventures, but he's been deceiving them by when he's like, when no one's looking, he's like poison spray or something. Nice. So it's an interesting cast of characters, and I have a life cleric who's really a germaphobe and likes to hang out in the library, and his name's Bard, and he's going to eventually take other levels, probably in Bard. So he's a storyteller right now because he knows stuff. But he doesn't give you a hard time about actually going into the dungeon and leaving the library. No. He sees that as part of the experience. He's living the stories. But they haven't gone into a dungeon yet. They just had stuff. And classic D&D tropes have been had. It's been a beautiful time. So I'm excited to see how the fans respond to it once they see the two. And next Saturday, not today, but next Saturday I'll be playing the second session. So, all right. So Joshua, staff writer Joshua, technically there's no reason why your setting can't be modern or even in the future. If there's magic, there's no need to develop cards or iPhones. It really depends, though. Like, magic has to be widespread enough and accessible enough for everyone to actually replace technology. It's got to be standardized. Yes. Or your civilization has to get high enough where people can just sit around and be learned rather than doing things like surviving goblin attacks or farming and getting food for people. So you have to have a certain level of civilization to get those wizard towers. Yeah, well, essentially, like, a modernization still has to happen to a degree. Now, you can play it any way you want, but like there's things like travel between places would probably, there's things that need to happen for me to agree that it's a modern setting, even if it's all fantasy and doesn't use technology.
I would say a certain level of communication, a certain level of transportation.
They would be the keys, and then also dealing with, I guess, other things as well. So when is your next game?
Oh, my next game is going to be not this Saturday today, but the following Saturday. So a week from now.
Yeah. This month we're really struggling getting my game scheduled. Ted's game, I believe, is scheduled like at the end of the month. And we have the Star Wars game scheduled at the end of the month.
And you have your fan game, right?
And I have my fan game. I have to see when I scheduled that for, and I think I still need to send out emails. Been slacking there.
Ted's not here, so we don't have a little list of when everything's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I don't recall when you said it was going to be either.
Yeah. Well, there's I just need to look at a calendar probably, and it's in the last. It was in the last Q&A we did, Quest and Adventures, so I can dig it out if I need to. He sent me the list of names, so I have that. I just forgot to do something with it. So that's going to be happening. And then also the end of the month, we're going to be doing a Think Geek game. So that should be fun. Me and you are going to go down to Think Geek in Virginia, hang out with those folks, and run a game. And it's going to get streamed on all their places. So we'll give you guys details on that, so you'll be able to check it out and watch along.
And I've requested off for my one job, so I am officially going.
Woohoo! So that should be a lot of fun. So, but other than that, like the actual core Nerdarchy gaming we've been doing, seems to be struggling a little bit. Now I'm getting plenty of gaming in.
Ted's game, is that going to happen this month?
Yeah, that's what I said. His game is, so Think Geek is Friday the 27th.
Saturday is Ted's.
Saturday's is 28th is Ted's, and then the 29th is supposed to be, I believe, the Star Wars game.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, you get plenty of gaming. You got the Scarlet Sisterhood happening. You've got Saber Dice.
Right? Yeah, I've got 3 weekly games going, so I'm good. My fix is good. And the Marvel Phase Rip game, that's a ton of fun. And we have War Eagle Keep in there helping us out, doing some stuff with production. He's going to be adding sound effects during the game, cool things like that. The first one we had some issues that are going to get cleared up in the second one, but it's getting better and better. Like he did this old timey filter on the overlay that makes the TVs look like they're like old TVs.
Yeah.
But it seemed like a really great idea. But in hindsight, it's like, well, it kills the, it kills the video quality and degrades the video too much. So that's something that was removed right away. So the next session it won't be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that seems really authentic and artistically. Yeah, that's a great idea. And then when you look at it, I would like to see people be in a higher quality.
Which game are you talking about, John? My fan game or the or my in-person game? Because we also have a backlog too that we're kind of working through. This week I didn't get to rendering and editing videos to put them up, but next week I'll get back to that. Last couple of weeks we had, I think the last 3 weeks in a row we had them go up over the weekend, so they're up there. I want to say it's like the week of the 22nd. I have a calendar here. I can figure this out.
While you're doing that, Conrad2261, thanks. My wife gave me this shirt for Father's Day, and I really enjoyed it.
It's the 22nd is when my game has to be. I'm thinking. Because otherwise it'll be problematic. I've gotten to this weird place now where I never used to worry about this before, but my whole life needs to go on a calendar and I need to get reminders about it.
And you've lived your whole life without really having to be bothered by that.
Yeah. And now it's like I'm starting to put everything on a calendar and block stuff out. And as I do that, I'm like, there's less and less white on this calendar.
Well, yeah, what was it? Every Saturday was gaming pretty much for a while. And then it was like an occasional wedding and something comes up.
Yeah. Now it's just like, not so much. So also, guys, feel free. You got questions, ask them, whether it's about Nerdarchy, whether it's about gaming, whether it's about your campaign or whatever, feel free to throw those out there.
Speaking of calendar stuff, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Do you know what guest you have for next week?
The guests for next week, actually, I can actually figure that out because I had one of my first cancels. We got Ivan Van Norman coming in on Monday. He DM'd Dread, and he's got actually a bunch of stuff to his name. Yeah, so he's going to be Monday. Tuesday was actually, I have to figure that out because we had to cancel. Tyler was supposed to, Tyler Wapple, who has been on before. He does a lot of the art for what is it? Evil Hat Production for the Dresden Files stuff. So he's got a Kickstarter going on, which you guys can check out. I think it's already funded, but that's going pretty well. So he was supposed to be on, but he has to fly out of town for a funeral. So unfortunately, I suspect he would rather be on the show than going to a funeral. We got Rob Toohey coming on, and he's very active over on Fantasy Grounds Forum and also in the DMs Guild. So he's got a really cool story that someone sent me about how his life kind of changed. He actually used to be he was like a stand-up comedian for like 15 years and then almost died, and then something happened. So we'll be talking about that. So that'll be really cool. Thursday we've got you guys might want to check this one out. You guys, I think some of you have heard of this guy. And this one has been a long time in the making. So Mike Mearls will be on Thursday.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that will be cool. And then Lou and Roan will be on Friday. BJ Hensley sent them my way, so they're going to be fun guests. They have some stuff going on in the gaming world, so we'll have them as well. And then last week we had Derek on from Elven Tower. He makes awesome maps and has a great website that you guys can check out. Also, we've been talking to him a little bit. We're looking at doing some collaboration with him. So that was a great interview. Another international guest, and he's from Mexico. We had Aaron from Jetpack 7 on Tuesday. We had Frank Mercer on Wednesday, and that guy is a friggin' D&D legend. Like, I knew the name, and then we were gonna have him on, so I started doing my research. I'm like, oh, you like worked on all the stuff I loved as a child or in my younger gaming years, because he did the whole basic line, is what he did. The red box, blue box, green box.
Oh wow!
You know, if you remember all of them, what it was he had the red box in it, which was D&D basic, and then it was like the expert, and then it was like the companion. There was the immortals. I don't even remember them all, but yeah, he was a great guest. He was a lot of fun to listen to. We had Sam Flegel on Thursday from One Fantastic Week, is like an art YouTube show they do. But I had him on because he's doing this Norse mythology Kickstarter, and it's already kicked, and it's going. So it's like this art book, and it's based off of a lot of different, like the prose and the sagas and stuff like that. This is actually his second one that he's done, and it turns out that actually that's his religion. Paganism and heathenism, the Norse mythology, or Norse religion, I guess in this case. So he had so many insights, and I was just blown away. And he was a fantastic speaker. I just got to hang back and listen to him talk about Norse mythology, and plus we jumped around a little bit. Used to be a gamer.
Yeah, I caught a bit of that. That was a really good stream.
So yeah, that was really cool. And then yesterday we had Wolfgang Bauer on from Koebel Press. So, I want to thank all the guests that came on last week, and thank the ones coming this week. It's a fantastic lot. We're having a good run over on the live chats.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the scheduling might of Dave here with getting everybody on board.
I don't even know how it happens. I'm just like, I'm constantly on my phone, like messaging people. Like my messenger is ridiculous most of the time. It's like, if I didn't talk to you like yesterday, I usually have to use a search feature to go find that message.
Yeah, and I dive into the Nerdarchy emails every once in a while just to see if anything's for me or if I need to pay attention to something, and then I quickly try and reroute it to one of my other emails so I don't get lost in the deluge of different emails from people.
Yeah, like that is one of the things where we could definitely use help in
figuring out like organization systems because we're not that good at it.
Yeah.
And we get, we do get so many emails that just keep coming in, so many messages that keep coming in. Like, if you ever reach out to us and we don't get right back to you, it's because we didn't deal with that message right away and lost it in the shuffle. Especially like the Facebook messages. If it's anything that I feel is important, I generally like, can you send this in an email? At least I can put it over there and mark it unread.
Yeah, that's the best I try and do is when I look at something and be like, oh, someone else didn't pay attention to this. Mark as unread, like I didn't even touch it. Helps keep it, relevant because it's bolded and everything like that. You guys know how email works.
Maybe.
They
are on YouTube with us, so.
Zerif Gaming is curious if he can ask a question. It includes bastard children, so I don't think that should be a problem. It depends. If total gruesome things happen to children, I don't know. I'm not that interested in answering it, but go right ahead. Give it a whirl.
See what happens. We're willing to risk it. Oh, by the way, I guess we should mention why Ted's not here. He's off camping with Cub Scouts this weekend, so that's why. And that's why he's not worried about whether we say we're with our favorite nerd artist or not. He'll never know.
Yeah.
Frigginator. I'm planning on playing an ex-lion tamer type character in Ted's next game using a stool and a whip. You're taking part in the bloody bucket stuff. So I didn't know if you guys were just going to like use the same characters and keep like progressing, a story where it's episodic and like these are like the adventures of this group.
Yeah, it's like a little theme of an episode, and then you go back to whatever you do normally, like lion taming, and then you can hop back into an adventure when it's called for.
Yeah, Doug. So Doug has been like compiling our Kickstarter stuff and putting it over on the website for you guys to make it easier to find and whatnot. Thanks, Doug. But also Ted, for the longest time, has been finding cool Kickstarters that are RPG related, and he makes a list of them, and then we put them in the description of this video. So in case you're new or you haven't checked out the Q&As before, or we haven't mentioned in a while, we always put those links in the description as well as the videos and articles and everything we do at Nerdarchy over there.
Yeah, it's definitely stacking up into the description below. All right, Zerif Gaming. Question: how would you handle role-playing a drow with 4 bastard children?
Oh, man. That's a lot of mama drama there.
From different mothers or all the same mother?
Either way, it's going to be a lot of babies, mama drama there.
Or is it... I guess it couldn't really be... I'm trying to... Because, most drow society is matriarchy.
Yeah.
So how would a bastard child come about in that way? Would it be the mother doesn't recognize the child?
Yeah,
or still requires the father to recognize the child,
or it's whatever she decides, like in that society. Because you're right, it's not like ours. So
and she can't. Well, I mean, she could deny and hide the fact that she was ever pregnant or had a child,
and she might not care either. Like in that sense, like I got the idea that literally, like especially if you're going by like Forgotten Realms, Men's Liberans, and like you are literally a sperm donor and you mean nothing. You've served your purpose. Like
yeah, you can go fight in some drow war.
Go fight in some drow war and die.
Yeah, so, the important things happen.
Unless that particular drow had some kind of affection towards you for whatever reason, then it might matter. But for the most part, I don't think it would. Now, it could matter in the sense of the children wanting to know who their father was at some point and come looking for you. But again, that is probably more likely to be a male child than a female child.
Yeah, who just got kicked. He might be the second male child.
So, yes. So with drow, it's kind of weird. I think with other races, it could be fun, especially like, for role-playing situations or maybe a little comedy relief.
Yeah.
She keeps tracking you down and she's got like armful of, I just picture her tracking you down with armfuls of babies at every different tavern. She just shows up.
Well, it would be funny from the drow perspective because it would be funny because it's peculiarity of the situation that it is kind of like reverse where maybe the mother died in some kind of coup in the Underdark, and these, you may say if you're above ground drow, then your children are looking for you because you're it. You're like the last of you're the only family ties they have, basically. Otherwise they might risk being killed in the Underdark. And then you have to deal with whether or not they're terrible people or not. Because you probably haven't had much just say in raising them, unless you were training them in weapons or some other thing. I'm trying to think of the different drow stories I've taken part in or read. And it feel kind of like, you know, your father might be the weapons trainer, you find out later, or, you know, that kind of situation, because of, you know, like Dave, you were saying, it's kind of irrelevant when it comes to the matriarchy of Mensabarans.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other side of that is, and they're kind of like touching it on that in the chat, is, you know, how does your character feel about it? Is your character, would they care, like they find out and they want a connection or relationships with those children, then that's completely different. And then obviously if you're playing the drow, it's how he's going to deal with it however you feel he should deal with it. Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe he does care. You know, so it's really, you make a determination there and move forward. And then, like, are you going to be able to go to where those drow children are in order to see them and have a relationship with them? That can be problematic when you have a whole venturing party and they're like, we don't want to go on your visitation run.
Yeah.
So
I know you get it only once every decade, but you're gonna have to hire some mercenaries. So I'm not going to the Underdark.
Right. And so he would care, he says, but then you have to decide, well, what's reasonable? What can you actually do about that? Do with that information? Are you welcome in the city where the children are?
Yeah.
You know, or do you have to sneak in? And is it worth the risk? Could it be part of his goal, like to acquire enough power and wealth that he could go back there without being, you know, without being harried or molested by the drow? So these are going to be things that kind of shape that character's personality. You know, maybe he's morose all the time because he misses his kids and he wants to see them, but he doesn't get the chance. You know, it's a death sentence for him to come back. Or maybe something bad will happen to the children if you go back, and he's concerned about that, especially the male children that have very little value. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you could play it, but then you have to consider the group dynamic. I think that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, because if the rest of the party doesn't want to do it, you don't want to drag them there. And almost like out of character, they finally say, okay, we'll go do it.
So someone asked a question, and, you know, I wanted to answer it.
Yeah, I can't find it either.
There's several, but
okay.
There was an easy one.
Yeah, the one I found, Overlord of Midgar. What are your thoughts on using True Polymorph on a Warlock's Pact of the Chains familiar? I think that's a pretty good idea. True Polymorph, that's like the higher level one, right? And it gives them, I'm trying to remember exactly what it does. I'll check it out. So I'll get on this case here.
So while he's looking that up, Jay actually asked, do you guys have any favorite board games? So board games or tabletop games in general. I'm going to go with tabletop games in general. And my favorite is really close between Quarriors, which is a dice building game, or a dice pool building game, and Smash Up. I love those two games. They don't take a ton of time to play. You know, there's not a lot of setup. You know, it can be different every time you play it. So those are things that I actually like about those games.
I do enjoy those games. I also enjoy playing Settlers of Catan, and I like Lords of Waterdeep. I thought that was a fun game. It's a board game, and the kind of, you know, everything from Xanathars in there to other beings and denizens of the Waterdeep.
Also, I know you guys like all playing like Ascension.
Yes, Ascension, Thunderstone is another game.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of games that are kind of very similar.
Yeah.
Comrade 2261, what would it take to have one of you coming to Massachusetts to run a one-time, one-shot campaign? Would I have to sign a scroll? Ha ha ha. Kind of kidding, but also just wondering. You know, like one of the things I will say, if you can get enough people in one spot that are Nerdarchy fans, and it's feasible for us to get there, Like Massachusetts wouldn't be too bad. I think it's something we would definitely consider and do. We just have to figure out what that number is. Is it 20 people? Is it 30 people? Is it 50 people? Also, if it's further away, we'd be willing to do it too. Just get us, pretty much put us up, get us there, and more than likely we would be interested in doing it. We're not quite to the point where we can do the world tour for Nerdarchy yet. We can't quite fund that, but
yeah, we're way off from that.
But if you get, like I said, you get enough people, like we'll do a mini event, no problem. If you guys are able to get us there and put us up, and the cost to that would all just depend on how far you are from New Jersey. Like I said, Massachusetts, we could drive there, so it's not super expensive.
Yeah,
expensive
it's like a
to get there.
Travel.
Yeah, and to make it worthwhile, we'd have to like get put up for a night or so, and then we could do some kind of event. But that would be cool.
All right, so for turning a creature into a creature with true polymorph, it's concentration up to an hour, and there's nothing against in the game that's against you turning your familiar into it. I would just say it's kind of weird because you can take an object and turn it into a creature. So you could just like be like, oh, that bookshelf is now a dinosaur or something, So, but that does have a challenge rating cap on it for the object into a creature of 9 or lower. And creature into creature, I'm not seeing it's equal to or less than the target's challenge rating.
So yeah, you're not going to turn it into something great.
Well, it would be cool to say I've got this magic Pokemon familiar and I can make it do whatever I want kind of thing. You're not going to get a very powerful thing from a 9th level spell. So
yeah. Also, does it take on the mental stats of that creature? Or
yes, that also it changes all the statistics. So not the best bang for your buck, that's for sure. Since like an imp's like the most powerful thing, and it's
like a CR1 or something.
Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend taking an object. You could have a figurine or a doll or something that goes along with whatever theme you're trying to create, and then transform that into the whatever creature you want.
I feel like the things that you're saying were answered like 15 times over in the chat.
Well, I was reading the book. I wasn't reading the chat.
No worries.
Well, thank you, all awesome fans, for answering that for us.
Yeah. Check DDB. I would check DDB, but it's not. I have the chat up on my phone instead of D&D Beyond.
And I have a junk phone that I don't have any more space on it. So
I feel your pain. I was just clearing things out the other day, and it's like, all right, no whammy, because I've done that in the past and just wiped out my contact list.
Yeah, and I'm to the point I've deleted the flashlight app so that I could have stuff on here, which I regret. Probably every night I try and get into my house and the light's not on.
I would just open my phone and use it like
yeah,
this.
It gives you a little bit like a glow stick level light.
Yeah. Andy has a question. I'm about to play Stroud. Any tips for a new guy? Read it first. Other than that, we can't really give you much because we don't run pre-planned adventures. You tried it once and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, Nerdarchy Ryan wrote something and I was running it and I was like, this is too much dang work. And you also, there's like the anxiety created by trying to stick to what you've read, but also it not being yours. And then you have to be like, well, am I still running this adventure if I've changed everything and like I'm over here with it? So there's that issue as well. So it's kind of like, read it. I would say, unless you're going to try and plan it as close to possible, I would say read it for the context and then insert the bits you remember as it goes on and be like, yeah, this is an adventure that involves Strahd. You can use the encounters wherever you feel like. You can kind of get the feel of it without, then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. But I wrote for the Holds of Mordain campaign, I've done something a little different, and I pretty much write out anybody that's familiar with the terrible terrains in our Patreon rewards. It's pretty much a terrible terrain the way I write it out. I write descriptions, what's going to happen, some notes for myself. So I make a little mini adventure PDF for me, and then I just run what I have and I change what I need when I need to. And I found that that really worked well for the campaign. I didn't have many hiccups, except for getting my dice upstairs. Because I just recently moved my office to the basement, the dungeon level. And I forgot my dice all upstairs. So I had to be like, hey, guys, I got to be right back.
No.
I forgot a crucial D&D element here.
Just make numbers up.
Well, yeah. I wanted to roll the dice.
So actually going back to that question, though, it actually, I would like to bring on Jen from Pixelscapes at some point. Because she was running for 3 different groups the same adventure. I want to say it was Sword of the Dragon Queen,
Okay.
but it might not be.
So she sounds like she's had some experience with it then.
Yeah, yeah. So, and she had like at least one player that was in multiple campaigns, but she said she changed enough stuff and made it different enough that it was a different experience each time. So that would probably be an interesting discussion to have, and it's definitely a weak area for us as Nerdarchy. So we would definitely be better off and better serve you guys by bringing in someone that's done a bit more of that. So Comrade 2261. So when I get my taxes back next year, I could set you guys up for a night. It's a very strong possibility. We'll see if we can get Ted to leave New Jersey. Could be fun.
Hey, he went on that cruise that one time.
He did go on the cruise that one time, and out to LA.
And I got him to camp for a weekend once. I mean, it was still in New Jersey, but you know, we're expanding Ted's horizons.
He's a bit of a homebody.
Yeah,
he works from home for his job. Works from home for Nerdarchy.
tries to
make sure all the games are at his house.
Yeah.
So sometimes we struggle to get him out of the compound. So I'm just trying to get caught up.
Which is interesting for how social of a guy he is.
Yeah.
You think I would be the homebody that's like hiding in the basement?
You are hiding in the basement now.
Yeah, but out of the 3 of us, I would hide the most. But I actually have a job outside that I have to go to as well.
Curses.
And my wife drags me places. I say drag because I would technically stay at home if left to my own devices.
I'm picturing Tanya physically having to drag
like,
you now.
Yeah, I have to do more work on the computer.
It would be like me trying to make a horse go someplace it doesn't want to go.
Listen, unless you have candy or apples or something, I ain't moving. Pizza.
What you're saying is it's an even better analogy.
Yes.
Tim is the man. We love Tim too. I caught you before you retracted it. Fixed the Ted. It's all right. It happens. Happens to me all the time.
Chad, well, if Ted has a phylactery in the basement, wouldn't it be better to not be in the place this phylactery is? That's like Lich 101, right? Evil Lich 101? But maybe that's how we never would think it's here.
Oh, he says the phylactery is the bomb the goblin's holding.
Oh, all right.
Put it in there. It's the oldest trick in the book. Put it in plain sight. Nerdarchy Con, says Jay. We actually want to do that. That is on our to-do list, is the Nerdarchy Con. But we want it to be bigger than Nerdarchy. Like, we're talking to like Dawn Forecast and WebDM and Taking 20 and DM Scotty.
Yeah.
A lot of other YouTubers that are doing cool stuff that we like to hang out with, and we want to do an event where, there will be Nerdarchy there, but there will be like workshops and panels for all your favorite YouTubers that talk about gaming and stuff. So I think that would be a good time.
Yeah,
Also, we could also probably get Maze Arcana in on the action, maybe encounter RollPlay. I don't know, like it's in my brain, right, in my head canon. This is a thing that's going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of organizing.
Yeah, organization and when it can actually happen. Organization
and money. It always is money. Maybe we do a Kickstarter to make it happen. And we've talked to different promoters, Jeff Mack, as well as Mike from the Promo Guys. So it's definitely something we've been kind of toying with and would love to do. The real question is, will enough of you guys show up to make it feasible?
Indeed. Well, it is past the halfway mark. Do we want to do roll call, and I'll get out some of these sweet books we've got over here?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll knock stuff over as I do.
Crush it all.
All right. The first thing is something we helped kick, Crisis of the World Eater, and course, I can't get to the page.
I love the fact they're still debating over what is Ted's actual phylactery.
In the back, I don't know if you can see it, but we have the Nerdarchy page there. Bam.
Yeah, you probably get that one a little bit closer. Let's see. Woohoo! We got our name in a book. It's cool.
Yeah, so we hope to kick that. And we have some bits here. Let's see. Swords and Wizardry from Throgod Games. Swords and Wizardry.
The complete rule book. Yeah, so that's an OSR style game. And the colors on the cover is actually pretty cool. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but I'm really digging this. Zach Glazer from Throgod Games is always really good to us.
We have a push button box treasure chest thing for our dice. Except it's taped, so I can't open it.
You can
open. Yes. Oh, it's
Sorry, guys. Nate is done with the live chat for now. He's found a spring-loaded treasure chest.
Yes. Oh, once more. Yes.
Once more into the breach. Now you can't close it.
Oh, I gotta make sure I don't break it. We have Tome of Horrors 4.
Dun, dun, dun.
Another Frog of God games and Necromancer games.
Is that a monster book?
I don't know.
I think it is a
It's
monster
got some
book.
monsters.
It looks like you got a hag nymph. That's disgusting. It's definitely got monsters.
Elemental, salt, and some other things. Lord of the Earth Elementals. Some good stuff here. Ah, crystalline creature. Nice.
Oh, that looks like that looks like old school stats, man. Like that must be. It's not 3rd edition.
It is the actual Swords and Wizardry.
Yes.
And there is also another copy of it where it is the Pathfinder compatibility book. So it's the same book, but just different rule set.
And you know what that means, guys? When we get stuff, you know what we do with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm showing it off. It's like a.
All right, I'm going to jump into the. I'm going to jump in here.
Okay.
We got Doug in Cleveland. We got Raven coming to us from the OZ. We got Kansas City in the house with Adam. We got Jacksonville, Florida with John. We've got Edmonds, Washington with Elfbeat. Ranger Roy's in Missouri. We've got from Idaho, the man from road to the farm. We've got Georgia in the house with Chad. Lots of phylactery talk. We've got Lynn, Massachusetts in the house with Comrade 2261. We've got Ted's phylactery is carefully hidden within Dave's beard. Maybe. Ted, the fate of Ted lies within my beard. We've got Cobb Constance is coming to us from House Springs, Missouri. And we got Fresno in the house with Mike. Bluntman is coming to us from the Ukraine. Newfoundland, Canada with Andy. Northern Virginia with Adderall. We've got Mark in Waterloo, Ontario. California with Roger. Boston with Mr. Narzul. Tampa, Florida with Grinlin. Geek and Undies is in Circleville, Ohio. And we got Waff Rap in Germany. Calgary, Canada with Kegan. Jay, I should say, is in Portugal. He's the one we couldn't figure out how to actually say his name because it's like the J and a bunch of vowels, and he's like, just call me Jay. I'm like, thank you so much. It makes my life so much easier. We got Jimmy McCroy coming from Ventura, California. So we got people hanging out with us from all over the place, which is always awesome. It looks like we got about 42 people watching now, so almost 50 on this fine Saturday afternoon.
So, I want to save some of this for surprise for later, but I will reveal one more set of things, and that is the Lost Lands, got Bard's Gate, and the Big Mamba Jamba, The Blight. And those are from Frog Games, and it's 5th edition fantasy. And just check out the page count on that.
We've also have Lord of the Swarm from Grafenwar, Germany. So we got some more Germany in the house. Fred from Kentucky. Wilder Smith is in New York. Zaref Gaming stuck in Bavaria. No. Jose Perez is in Baltimore, Maryland. So people coming in from all over the place, which is it's always cool. Yeah, this Blight book, man, this is ridiculous. I don't know.
It's over 800 pages of text.
I think
it goes to almost 900 pages.
Yeah, I think they sent us the PDF to this one. It's actually signed too.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap. It's like $160.
Yes.
But like you could literally just run your next 50 campaigns from that book alone. Which
it smells wonderful.
That's what I was about to. Did you just sniff the book? Ooh. Oh, this has like a cool full color fold out map that I'm going to undo and probably not be able to get to have it redone. But yeah, man, nice and glossy.
Yeah, that's with Bard's Gate.
Yeah, that was in Bard's Gate. That's pretty sweet. See that?
That is nice. High quality.
Nice. I like Fragod.
You make good stuff.
They just need to lose the black and white.
Oh yeah. Oh, this has got color.
This one has color.
Yeah, Bard's Gate's got color.
They are moving to color with their stuff. Zach has said he's going toe to toe with Bill Webb over this, and that is the direction that they're working on going.
Well, this has got beautiful art in it, from what I've seen.
Jose Perez, wow, big bug killing book. Bug, you kill small children with that book.
Yeah,
rodents. And it can stop a bullet in real life. Yes, they had gotten some damaged ones. And I don't know if it was that book. It might have even been like a smaller book. But they had gotten some damaged ones that they weren't going to be able to sell. So the owner of the company, Bill Webb, decided to use them to shoot. And a bullet couldn't make its way through.
Wow.
Don't try that at crazy. Zaref Gaming, how do we win these books? Well, we give stuff away every month.
I sniffed it, it's mine.
I licked it, I own it. We give stuff away every month, and you can enter for free over at the Nerdarchy.com website. There is a page on contests and how to enter. Like, there's some form that you can fill out and then mail to us. The address is over there. It's a PO box.
Mm-hmm. The address will be on the form.
Yeah, so you have all that in one spot. You can do that. Or if you're a patron at any level, including $1,
we automatically enter you.
We automatically enter you in the contest. And this contest has nothing to do with Patreon. And it's not a reward level. It has nothing to do with YouTube. Has nothing to do with anything. Has nothing to do with Nerdarchy. It doesn't involve anyone or anything.
People's names go into a digital hat, and the name comes back out.
Yeah. And we give stuff away. We're always trying to figure out how not to get sued.
Yes.
Anyone see anything cool or crazy in their campaigns recently? There's always cool and crazy stuff going on in my Scarlet Sisterhood game. I never know what they're going to get up to. They're always going to try and befriend the monsters, though, too.
Yes.
So occasionally I have to have them.
Oh, the Wraith Child.
Oh,
in your game, Dave. That was rough.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get him with that.
No, Kenna, don't do it. Don't try and be friendly with this thing. It'll eat your soul. So it was like watching one of those horror films where you're like, don't go in the closet. Don't do it.
And then what do they do? Right in the closet.
Right in the closet.
Let's see. Someone had asked. I forget what it was. I wanted to respond to it.
Well,
like I said, no,
Cthulhu versus Demogorgon. Who wins?
Yeah, that was what. That's not even a contest.
Yeah, doesn't Cthulhu always win?
Yeah, Cthulhu would just. I don't know. I think it would just turn Demogorgon into like his house cat or something. It would make him a pet.
It's like my mini familiar that rides on my shoulder. Space. Since he probably doesn't have, at least he's got either more than 2 shoulders or none.
So yeah, that is hardly even a contest. I think, Cthulhu being an elder being is almost omnipotent. I don't even think it would register Demogorgon's existence.
Yeah, I really don't think you should stack Cthulhu, because then someone will try and kill it, and I don't think it's really a easily killable thing. It's a banishable thing. Is what I think.
Elfbait, I dig the black and white. It is definitely a distinct style and taste, and I feel like me and Ted definitely, I think, fall on the side of we prefer color. If anyone out of us were to prefer black ink, I think it would be Nate, but I won't speak for you.
I'm cool with the black ink, and I understand for the purpose. Like, I mean, when you've got an almost 900-page book, I don't want to spend the extra money that it would probably require for a full page of full color stuff. So, I mean, I'll take it at the price it is right now for this size monstrous book. But for the smaller books, it is nice. And the PDFs, like I like to have the PDFs that have color art. I know you figure like, well, you're not spending money on the printing, so can you slip me some cool art things I could kind of get inspired from? And I like the color because it kind of gives it pop.
The problem with that is it's still generally just as expensive to produce the actual material, and then you're expected to sell it for a lot less. And art is expensive. That is the most expensive thing.
You got the price of the art probably outweighing the other aspects of the project, and then you're like, oh, and then I've got to sell this for $10 because it's a PDF and not 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike J, I just got done TPKing my players the other day. Congratulations. And they want the adventure to continue in the Shadowfell. Do you have any wonky suggestions? Actually, third edition had a whole campaign setting based around that's called Ghost Walk, and I would probably go look for that. Maybe you can even buy it in the DM's Guild or the or Drive Through RPG as a PDF, because I know they put a lot of the older stuff in there. I can't say for sure that's one of them. Or if you can maybe find a cheap copy somewhere, just pick that up. That'd probably be really good. Wow, what is that book? So the Blight is actually like it's a city, but it's also like adventures as well. And it's very like when I was looking through it, it made me think of like kind of like a Gaslight adventure, kind of like that old, like that Victorian London kind of feel to it, where everything's kind of like dirty and gritty. So it is like a campaign. It's like a mixture of a campaign setting / adventures, and there's like tons of monsters and NPCs and all kinds of things in there, magic items.
Yeah, so we have Richard Pett's Crooked City, a vast and sorcerous city poisoned by alchemy, extending its empire through necromantically powered industries. The city-state of Castorage is gritty, often horrific and heartless. The city-state has begun exploring realms beyond the normal world, heedless of the dangers and unaware that these other worlds are exploring the city-state in return. Ruthless factions, many of them quite monstrous, wage a hidden war for control of the city, its bizarre technologies, and its cruel empire.
Ooh, Can't do it again. This time with feeling. That was great.
Get some tears. Some worry on my face.
That's a boring answer. Should we do the battle? Oh no, or maybe that was before we actually said anything. Someone said whoever the DM says wins is kind of the thing.
Well, there's that too. Maybe Cthulhu is downgraded in that mind.
I always get the feel like, well, from the different Lovecraft stuff I've read, is that most of those elder beings they exist in our dimension as well as other dimensions at the same time. So they don't even really, they don't perceive the way we do. So we like almost don't even exist to them.
Well, I think of the Cthulhian kind of, those elder beings as just the next stage in what's in the dark woods that can eat me. Like the hungry teeth of the night, just on a cosmic scale. So alien understanding, alien interest, and power enough that they don't even recognize when they've crushed whole civilizations.
Oh, Doug chiming in. Yep, the Sword and Wizardry is an Errol Otis cover. I love that art. Yeah, I like it too. I think it looks sweet. Adderall, a better contest would be Cthulhu and Asmodeus. I think we're getting closer, but until you actually say, okay, you're using Elder God, I don't think it's not really a contest.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like a deity that walks the plains in Faerun or whatever versus Galacticus. Like that's kind of, I think, the power scale there. And not the movie Galacticus, that big giant guy that ate worlds and flew around in a giant ship. The old school Galacticus.
Mark J. Cthulhu is probably a CR 32 to 35. I imagine it would not be much stronger than Lesser Gods. I guess it really depends on which version of Cthulhu too.
And that all depends on, how you think a monster should be defeatable. So a monster of that scale, like Cthulhu, I would think would be you would have basically, you'd have to do things to kick it out of your world rather than actually just like mow through its hit points. I mean, I guess if you had sufficient technology where you're like blasting moons out of and vaporizing moons, I guess, yeah. If you hit it with a Death Star, maybe is what I'm thinking. But you know, again, if you stat it, just be prepared for the players to whittle through those hit points.
Yeah, if you stat it, they will kill it. Zareth, you can always ask another question.
Yeah, I've unlocked your restrictions for this chat.
Your self-imposed restrictions.
Yes.
Cthulhu, man, they're really stuck on this versus. Elfbait, Cthulhu versus one of the chaos gods from Warhammer. I am not as familiar with Warhammer.
They're pretty nasty.
And the gods per se. I mean, I've read that. I've read a ton of novels in the Warhammer setting. I really enjoyed them. Gortrax and Felix is one of my favorite series. So, and there's a few others that I've read as well. They're not like, it's definitely not like high literature, but yeah, I consider all that stuff like that and the old like Wizards of the Coast TSR novels.
Well, yeah,
like,
TSR novels,
like mental junk food, but I enjoy it. I'm easy to please.
Yeah, I'm doing some research for Melf the Arrow, and an old school wizard who's got some spells named after him. And I'm reading the Artifact of Evil, which was by Gary Gygax back in the day, and it does make me feel like he just described what's happened in one of his campaigns. So I'm kind of getting that like almost as if it's the narration of what occurred during the session. So not high literature, but enjoyable.
So Zareth Gaming's other question.
Dun, 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 dun.
How do you know when a character is becoming too silly? So that is really comes down to the taste of the table. Like for some tables, there might not be a too silly and no one really cares. Other tables, the slightest bit of silliness and getting away from their dark, gritty fantasy game, is going to be too much. So that it's taste. It just has to do with taste. Like I often wonder that a little bit with my Jogo character, like how far to go? Do I need to dial it back? Am I, hogging the spotlight too much? Mm-hmm. So, when I play that character, when he comes forward, he's over the top and kind of gregarious and like in your face, but then I'll fade back for a while and let the other players do stuff, especially if it's anything like heady or intellectual. I'm like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He just point him in the right direction. They'll pulverize something.
Freak out about ghosts, and then you find out this pout will protect you. All right, great. Yeah. Back to the corner I go. Yeah, I would say if it's not a high silly game, it is definitely going to depend on your table, and it's going to depend on the individuals. But I would say, think about this. Is he silly and annoying, or is he silly and kind of is he silly as in the game he's silly, while other people are taking like life and death things very serious? He's just like, meh, whatever. We're all gonna be destroyed by the sun eventually, so who cares? Or that kind of silliness, kind of like laissez-faire about everything. Or is he silly like if you're making outside jokes and references? I would say that's kind of a situation where in general, as a DM, I don't really care for that because it detracts from the game, and it's also kind of goofing around. But every once in a while, a joke that's funny either in character or out of character, or a situation. I like situational comedy better, I think, than like when all the characters are interacting and either a task comes about that is humorous based on how they decide to solve it, or because they play in the characters and just like that meeting of strange character traits plus situation that is comical. I enjoy that happening every once in a while. So in the end, it's going to depend on your table. all said and done, it's going to depend on your table.
Exactly. Know the people you're playing with. And ask, is this too much? Is this over the top? I mean, I've kind of done that as well. So Nate, wants to know if you guys could become any kind of lycanthrope, what kind would you guys become?
I actually haven't thought of this before.
This is a new question. We
This is
haven't
a
been
new
asked.
question.
I have to go with the dwarf of the lycanthropes, and I will go with the werebore. Werebore is actually my favorite lycanthrope. But when you're like, well, what one do you want to be? I'm not so sure it's the one I would want to be, though. It's definitely not like the most noble of the lycanthropes. You know, I really think like, you know, were-tiger, werebore, werewolf.
Yeah, do I want to run faster, swim faster, or fly? I don't.
Or be a dirty rat.
Yeah, you know what? I think I might go with something for flying. So whatever were creature will get me flight. Were giant squirrel, flying giant squirrel.
Were-raven. Were-ravens were introduced in Crystal Shroud.
There you go, were-raven. I'll pick that.
Yeah, or,
and I get to be stylish in black.
Yeah, I think I've also seen were-bats previously as well.
Well, could be cool. I think were-ravens look probably the more elegant and less hideous face. So with the bat nose and weird ears.
Well, that's my point too. Is like I like werebores. Someone said werebat as well, but they spelled it W-E-A-R. Like werebat. Werewhale is in there as well.
Oh, were-dragon. Yeah.
If I
get wings.
They were in second. Were they in second edition or third edition? I definitely
feel like it was like Council of Worms or something else that's from.
I definitely no, it was not. It was somewhere else. Even I didn't even Forgotten Realms with Moonshades. I don't know that were-dragon from second edition.
Yeah, so were-dragon if you get flight, absolutely the were-dragon, and then were-raven a close second.
That is really hard. I like the were-bear and were-tiger. Like if I'm gonna be something, but like when you talk dragon, like your choices are anything. Like always be a dragon, I guess, is where you want to go. So we are right up on the hour mark.
And we do have some more videos to shoot.
We do have more videos to shoot.
So we are going to have to cut ties with the internet.
So thanks, guys, for hanging out. As always, we do appreciate you hanging with us, on this fine Saturday afternoon. So until next time,
stay nerdy.